saying that it was white people oppressing black people?
Every single thing is like, oh, no, this is all because white people bad. And that's just not the truth. Like, for example.
Well, Jillian Michaels was on CNN, and they were talking about the art in the Smithsonian. And she brought to their attention how the art in there mostly has something to do with some kind of political statement, namely about white racists enslaving people of color. Julian Roberts brought up two very, very interesting points. Because, first of all, to constantly try to use art to display a message about how racist America is really not art. Nobody minds if some of the art in there was representing real art, like they used a Picasso, Michelangelo. But now all the art has something to do with either some gender, because she brought that up too. They said it's complicated. It's really complicated. Men and women playing in women's sports. She says, no, it's not. XY chromosomes.
Every single exhibit, I have a list of every single one. Like, people migrated from Cuba because white people bad. Not because of Castro. Yes, no, it's in there. That's what I'm saying. You don't actually know what's in there. Do you know that when you walk in the front door, the first thing you see is the gay flag?
Jillian, you have a lot of stuff in front of you.
Yeah, I do,
what
because
exactly
I don't, because here's the thing.
Are you talking about?
Okay, I'll give you an example.
Yeah, please.
There's one called Change Your Game, right? This has been an installation there. Is gender testing fair in sports? Does that, and then it goes on to talk about how it's complex to do gender testing in sports. It's not complex. It's basic science. That's untrue. It's XX chromosome, XY chromosome. That's sports. Is it fair to have biological men competing against biological women in sports? No. But why is this in the Smithsonian? So
very, very simple. And then they got on the issue about race, because she was saying that this Smithsonian is all about whitey bad. The thing that gets me is that when all of these people are talking about reparations, they're going all around the world. In Cuba, if Cuba does something, it's because of the white imperialists. If they do something in Africa, Afghanistan now, even in Palestine, it's all about white supremacy, the white Jews in Israel. Do you realize that Portugal and Brazil is the #1 transporter of slavery back in the day? Portugal and Brazil, but nobody seems to be that upset about Portugal and Brazil. Why is that? Why can't we just have a comedy show, or even when you watch sports now, if a black quarterback don't get the position, it's because of racism. Do you really think that these damn owners who love to win, if they had a black quarterback that could win a Super Bowl, they would put him on the team? They just had one last year for Philadelphia. Jalen. He won one. He's black. It's a lot of black quarterbacks. Baltimore has a black quarterback. Why do we keep playing this race stuff? Because in sports, in today's sports, you could be purple. You could be from Mars. If you can ball, they're going to put this down, though. But every damn thing has something to do. It does. It has something to do with whitey bad. Nobody talks about Portugal and Brazil, right? Why we don't ever even mention them in slavery? Britain has slaves. They had more than America. Nobody really ever attacked Britain about this situation. France had slaves too. Spain had slaves. Africa has slaves. Egypt has slaves. Why is it? What she's trying to say is that why can't we put something in the Smithsonian? Because President Trump is trying to say all of this art in here is some ridiculous political statement. And then they'll start trying to talk down to you.
He's gone into the Smithsonian, and he's effectively now has some random person deciding what is appropriate for the Smithsonian to teach in terms of American history, things that don't offend parts of the MAGA base, right? So we're now literally reviewing parts of American history and parts of American culture to make sure it comports with Dear Leader and what the MAGA
Can we
organization
address
wants.
some of those things that are in there? Because have you looked at some of the things that are being reviewed?
Slavery was a bad thing that was to talk about.
Okay.
Like,
he's not whitewashing slavery. So
he's not?
He's not. No,
okay.
he's not. And you cannot tie imperialism and racism and slavery to just one race, which is pretty much what every single exhibit does. But let's talk about the fact that when you
can't tie slavery.
Let's talk about the fact.
I mean, slavery in America was.
Do you realize that only less than 2% of white Americans owned slaves?
But it was a system of white supremacy.
You realize that slavery is thousands of years old?
White people were
Do you know
the slave
who
owners.
was the first race to try to end slavery? Well, what's controversial?
I'm very surprised
This is
that
an
you're trying to
extraordinary exercise in historical revisionism.
I'm really surprised.
Do you realize that
Jillian, I'm surprised that you're trying to litigate who was the beneficiary of slavery and who was not.
What I'm trying to tell you is that
in the context of American history,
okay.
in the context of American history, what are you saying is incorrect by saying that it was white people oppressing black people?
Every single thing is like, oh, no, this is all because white people bad. And that's just not the truth. Like, for example, every single exhibit, I have a list of every single one. Like,
you're white. The reason you're saying what you're saying. If I say it's because you're Tommy for the white man. I don't like to see anybody, they just talk about one subject every single damn day. I don't care if they black, white, purple, orange, male or female. I don't see it like they have somebody, their whole channel, I don't have to watch it. I don't want them taken off. Their whole channel is bashing women. Or their whole channel is bashing men. Their whole channel is bashing blacks. Their whole channel is bashing whites. Mix it up a little bit. Get your different food groups in there. But what I don't like is that this acceptable thing is everything is Whitey's fault. If it wasn't for Whitey, Africa would be rich. If it wasn't for Whitey, Cuba would be better.
Goes on to talk about how it's complex to do gender testing in sports. It's not complex. It's basic science. That's untrue. It's XX chromosome, XY chromosome. That's sports. Is it fair to have biological men competing against biological women in sports? No. But why is this in the Smithsonian? So it's been completely captured.
First of all, I don't.
And
think
it's totally partisan.
First of all, we don't have time to litigate
of
all of this.
Of course we don't, because then you're going to lose the argument. And everything is racialized, just like you're trying to do to me now.
Excuse me.
It's like, I can't believe you're trying to suggest, that slavery
just to be
is a good
clear,
thing.
You brought up race.
No,
this was a conversation about the arts, and you brought up race.
It isn't.
You brought up.
But the whole point of this is that the issue
you brought up slavery, and you brought up the question of whether. You brought up the question.
2% of white Americans own slaves. It went right over their head. They started talking about, are you trying to say it wasn't about systemic racism? There's no need to talking to these people. Once people are not going to be confused with facts, you're wasting your time. I just make fun of them then, because you can quote fact after fact after fact to people. When they don't want to hear it, they don't make no difference but you quoting facts. Like somebody's going to watch this damn video right here. They're going to ignore Brazil and Portugal was the #1. You can look it up for you. Even Google don't even lie about it. And you know they lie about a lot of stuff. Great Britain, France, and Spain is the next 3 after Portugal and Brazil. But nobody's really upset with them because it doesn't fit the narrative.